Junk drawers. Dictionary calls it a drawer used for storing small, miscellaneous, occasionally useful objects of little to no monetary value, but possibly significant sentimental value. Okay, well, that about covers it. Anything and everything that might fit in a drawer, in other words. Every house used to have a junk drawer, that seldom thought about yet magical repository of oft ignored but somehow indispensable stuff. Small crap that doesn't really belong anywhere yet seems to belong. Now, I read that junk drawers are gradually receding from being a vibrant part of Americana to becoming a thing of the past, like the olive green wall phone with the rotary dial and the tangled cord wound tight. The Cotes hold on to the junk drawer. Ours have always been in the kitchen. I have no real idea why, except that the kitchen is the heartbeat of the home, and the junk drawer is at the very center of that. All of our tendency to hoard, to never throw anything away, embodied in that 113 by 20 inch rectangle of joy. You want a true reflection of who you are? Forget the photo albums and scrapbooks. The time capsule of your life is the junk drawer, the one you always mean to keep so neat and tidy with that nice little plastic organizer tray, but before long it looks like the wreck of the Hesperus in there. But that's life, right? Starts off neat, goes straight to hell. Because I don't often, or really at all, I explored my own junk drawer yesterday in order to write this. It felt like traipsing up into Nana Doogie's attic. What do we have here? An address book. Can't trust what's stored in your iPhone. Need it on paper. A Fitbit watch I never wore and never will. A dead room key from a Ritz-Carlton. 4 rolls of Scotch tape, 3 small birthday candles, 2 golf tees, and a battalion of haphazardly strewn AA batteries. A bottle of Debrock Swimmer's eardrops. 2 tubes of Neosporin, including one that expired in 2013. Gorilla Glue. A deck of Seinfeld Festivus playing cards. A rope bracelet I bought in Haiti. Scissors. My dead dog Riley's old collar. Paper clips.
No.
Cough drops. Coins. An uncooked macaroni noodle. And looky here. The wedding ring I no longer wear. That's me. My cluttered, unorganized, miscellaneous life. If they fit, my late great deck shoes would be in there, trust me. Folks, if you have a junk drawer, visit it occasionally with that same mixture of nostalgia, love, and dread you bring to the nursing home to visit Ma. If you don't have a junk drawer, remedy that, please, immediately. Empty that one top drawer in the kitchen next to the silverware that's pretty useless. You know, the one with wax paper you never use. Empty that and begin your junk drawer with a starter kit. A few pennies, 2 paper clips, some old Christmas stamps, and a plastic hair comb. Close the door. Come back in a month and see what has magically bloomed. Free your inner hoarder. Wear your disorganization like a badge. Embrace clutter. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day.
I've got a lot of questions here to put on the poll. Put it on the poll, please, Guillermo, at LeBatard Show. Do you have a junk drawer? Also put on the poll, isn't a junk drawer just what should be the trash can? Also put in here he was claiming that you can tell a lot about a person from their junk drawer.
Totally.
Can you tell everything you need to know about a person by rifling through their junk drawer? Because I don't know that I know anything about Cody other than his dog died and he collects junk.
Very personal.
There's not emotional stuff in there. Neosporin expired in 2013
Right.
is not an emotional journey through anything other than I haven't thrown this away in 10 years.
He has those hotel keys, so those are sentimental.
He likes
they
to
remind him
travel.
of better times.
Yeah.
He has a pasta noodle. I mean,
right.
Oh, he loves pasta.
What did you do with the Neosporin once you discovered it had expired 9 years ago? Did you then throw it out, or
It
did
never
you throw
expires,
it? Did you throw it
Neosporin.
back in the junk drawer?
No, I kept it.
Of course you did.
I did throw away
You're a hoarder.
threw away the uncooked macaroni noodle, and I threw away
Really?
a couple of rubber bands that had snapped, that were no longer circular.
I recently cleared out a junk drawer and I found throat spray from Eckerd's.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's a junk drawer item. Congrats. Well junk drawed.
Like you've moved house. Yeah.
We should.
How did
we
that
should
make the
open up
move?
the
Because when I
phones.
went originally to my townhome, Eckerd's wasn't that far removed, just about 8 years.
Eckerd Drugs. I remember it well.
Mike, I would love to do the show either today or another day, interactive with the audience, where someone tries to top what Greg Cote just did. which is your reaction to Mike saying Eckerd's, was to point at him and say, "That's a junk drawer." I want to start a show that's now that he is qualified to say whether something is a junk drawer or not, because you have called us with a sufficient thing. Roy, are you a junk drawer person?
Yeah, I got a couple of junk drawers, a junk bowl, and a couple of Crown Royal bags with junk in it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
What?
well, I wouldn't call coins junk and batteries. So yeah, that's
Wait,
yeah.
Batteries are a staple.
why do you have Crown bags with junk in it? Where do those live?
In the office.
What's in them?
Coins and batteries.
Right.
Because you never know when you might need them.
We have a change jar.
Yeah,
I
You
saw
should
this.
get a battery
Yeah.
caddy. It changed my life.
Billy,
should, yeah.
let's talk about what's happened with your change jar, because I do feel like it's really backfired on you. You brought in here, you said, we were very flippant the other day about Whittingham says he throws change on the floor, and me and Stugotz are talking about leaving change anywhere to any barista. And you said, well, just give me the change, put it in my drawer. And that was weeks ago, and
Yeah.
there is nothing in your drawers except
okay.
paper.
Okay, so here's the deal. As you pointed out, no one here values change but me, apparently. Witty, likes to stack things decoratively to make people bend over to pick them up and, kneel down to him as they get them. So I said, you know what? You guys don't want change. I'll just create a change jar here. So I have here Billy's change jar, which you can't see because of the lighting, but it doesn't matter. So Billy's change jar, and what's happened is, as you can hear, no change has made it into the jar, but what I am getting is notes from quote-unquote anonymous people that are Lewis and Tony with just things about me they want to change.
Read one.
How many of them are there?
Please change your big shorts for shorter ones. Signed Anonymous.
Wow.
Who said that? No, that wasn't me. That's
Drink
anonymous.
less Coke sometimes. Buy more of the long, comfy pants you wear. This one was actually signed Lewis, so I know it was Lewis, but the other two are anonymous. Either way, they don't seem to understand what a change jar is.
Because it's anonymous, and because you guys have seen a random defensive coordinator explain to you why Lamar Jackson could win 12 MVPs and not be a quarterback still, I think we should all have, in honor of that cowardly Jack Del Rio, change jars around us where others in our environment can leave papers anonymously on
No.
things we
Bad
need.
idea.
I'd
we
like
need to
change.
Such a
I
bad
like
idea.
change because
Do
not gonna
not
listen
do
to
it.
him
There's
anyway.
bad manager of people.
there's also cameras here.
Our
where you
jar's going to
could
be full every day.
very
I mean,
quickly see who's leaving things with the cameras. I have, by the way, I have an issue. I don't know that I can trust. I had this change jar, this coin jar that was counting the change that I put in it.
I thought you were just going to stop at trust.
I have this coin jar that I thought was accurately giving me the amount of change that I had in it, right? And I looked at it and it said $26. And I said, you know what? That doesn't seem right. I think that there was more in here. So I spent an hour this weekend when I was supposed to be doing something else. I poured out all the change from this change jar, and one by one, coin by coin, I was putting it into my little counting coin jar made by Discovery. And I'm going to call them out because Discovery do a better job. So Discovery coin jar, I start going like this. $56. It was $30 off.
The Stugotz of
I have
change
absolutely
jars.
no idea how it could be off so much.
How can it be off $30?
$30 it was off.
$56 worth of change.
That's not even trying to count money if you're off by $30. You're off by more than is in the jar.
So sometimes I'll take out like a dime or a nickel or whatever because I need to go put air in my tires and the Wawa's too far and that's the only place that does it for free. So I take out some change. And I'll do the little subtract button. You have to hold down the button 3 seconds, and then it knows that you're subtracting. And then you'll go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 25. I don't have to go all the way to 25 when I take out a quarter. But you take out how much? I don't think I've ever told them I've taken out $30 in change, which is what happened. I just got another change suggestion.
Oh, somebody wait a minute. Somebody just added another note to the change jar?
Come to my birthday party next year. That one's from Bob.
Classic Bob.
Thank you, Tony, for changing the policy of Meadowlark. You get an hour late the day
early.
after your birthday.
I mean, hold on a second. there was torrential downpour, and I only have one parking spot at my apartment complex, and I have to walk a half mile to get my car because my wife has the other parking spot. It was a torrential downpour, and there was lightning everywhere, and I couldn't move. Dan, I'm sorry. It was my health.
Couldn't move because it was your birthday last night, as it was relayed to us by Bob.
Yeah.
Bob betrayed you, and the thing that happened yesterday, Stugotz, that you have now roped me into, that made for a very uncomfortable yesterday for me as you continue to try and get in friends and family at Boselli's Hall of Fame induction that you don't actually want to go to.
Getting closer.
Jacksonville fans are furious with me for a poll that was just meant as a joke at LeBatard Show to strong-arm Boselli and take away Jacksonville's one Hall of Famer by saying, should Stugotz, who got Boselli into the Hall of Fame, according to Stugotz.
Yep, I helped.
Should Stugotz pull away his support of the Jags, put up a poll, a mock poll, should any Jacksonville Jags ever be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Jacksonville is really mad at me.
Well, Tony Boselli is also really mad at you. In fact, he sent me a text this morning. I pinned it all on you, by the way. He sent me a text because he asked me about the poll question. I said, "Oh, Le Batard." He said, "Tell Dan to kiss my ass."
Wow.
I don't know what to tell you.
Boy, that's a big ass.
He also said to remind you that the Jags beat the Dolphins last year, and I said Dan doesn't care about the Dolphins. So I don't know what to tell him.
His team beat the Dolphins in the most memorable loss of Dolphins, I think, ever.
Season history.
62-7, Dan Marino's last game.
Yep, that's right.
That was his team that
I
did
was
that
there.
to the
Yes.
Dolphins.
You know, it's interesting because people are objecting to Boselli making it to the Hall of Fame. In fact, I think Greg Cote has some objections to Boselli making it to the
You're a
Hall of
voter,
Fame.
are you not?
But Bruce Smith also said what I think Greg Cote is about to say, and all I would say is Tony Boselli was on an all-decade team. Now, his career was cut short because of injury, but Boselli, for 6 years, was the best left tackle in the NFL. And that's it. Period.
The Bruce Smith quotes are hilarious.
They are.
Because he basically publicly laments that Tony Boselli built his reputation on that upset that Jacksonville had at Buffalo. It's honestly, whenever I hear Bruce Smith, I think of Tony Boselli, because when does a playoff broadcast get totally hijacked by a tackle pass rusher matchup the way that one did? And he kind of made a point. It's like, people take way too much stock in that one performance. He built his Hall of Fame. Without that game, I don't think Tony Boselli is in the Hall of Fame.
Even though Jason Taylor, a fellow Hall of Famer, says it's the guy that he faced that he had no chance, that he knew he had no chance. He's like, this is not fair. It's not right. I'm a Hall of Famer, but I can't get back there. This is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, JT told us that. Greg, what is your objection?
I don't so much object. I just think, and I'm not a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. If I were, I think I would have made him wait to get in. He's not by any means.
He's waited.
I know he has, and it doesn't surprise me that he's waited, is the point I'm making. A marginal Hall of Famer. Look, not everybody can be the surefire first ballot. Some guys barely make the Hall of Fame, and that was him, and I'm not surprised. Tony Boselli, I give him credit. He's listening. I give you credit for making the Hall of Fame despite playing for Jacksonville, despite playing for a bunch of mediocre quarterbacks, although Brunell wasn't bad. But he made 5 Pro Bowls. And all over the NFL, you see players not in the Hall of Fame who made more than 5 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, but everyone knows that he didn't make more because he was injured. Everyone,
True, right.
Gale Sayers is the greatest example, is he not? Of
Yes.
excellence
Played
rewarded.
like 7 years. Right.
Excellence rewarded by the Hall of Fame and didn't have a long career. But
Barry Sanders.
But is that Bruce Smith's not saying that, right? Bruce Smith isn't saying what Cote is saying. Didn't play long enough. Wasn't dominant for long enough. That's not what Bruce Smith is saying, is it?
No, it's not. It's like, this guy made the Hall of Fame because everybody overreacted to one playoff game.
Yes.
Let me get the direct quote
But
because it
it's
was interesting.
Right.
Bruce Smith, incidentally, I shouldn't laugh at this given what we now know about what football does to people, but one of the funniest things at the time that I remember seeing in television sports interviews, Roy, you probably remember this, it's a famous YouTube clip of Bruce Smith showing up for like your 11 o'clock local news, just hammered out of his head. And I think he fell down after slurring drunk. I'm pretty sure I have the video right where he just fell down slurring drunk on the set while there for an interview.
Yeah, it's a classic. I love that. The sound that his body makes when hitting the floor. It's wild. Wild. I can't even imagine what would have happened if that happened in today's day and age. I saw it several years after the fact. I cannot believe this video is out there.
Which is better, do you think, Stugotz? And I want to get more into how you're stoking the flames on Tony Boselli with me. But which is better, to get into the Hall of Fame or have someone with Bruce Smith's credentials say you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because of how you dominated me that one time?
I think getting into the Hall of Fame, but that is Bruce Smith's overall objection. Like, I'm looking at the story right now, is that he feasted on me for a single game. They highlighted that. They made an example of me and used it as an example of Tony Boselli's greatness.
Let's not paraphrase.
And I'm not certain he's in the Hall of Fame without that game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's not paraphrase. Here's a direct quote that Bruce Smith put on his Instagram. A large part of the campaign to promote Tony Boselli into the Hall of Fame seems to hyper-focus on a single successful performance he had against me in a 1996 playoff game. On the one hand, I'm quite flattered to be considered the gold standard by which another player's game can be measured to determine his qualification into the Hall of Fame. But on a more serious level, I and other Hall of Famers believe it sets a horrible precedent to negatively zero in on a standing member of the Hall's play in order to validate the candidacy of a nominee.
That sounds written.
Yeah, it does. It's like a statement, prepared statement.
He commissioned a PR staff to put out this statement. He is so hurt by this 1996.
But it's flattering, is it not?
There's so many slides. Too long, didn't read.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
It's very arbitrary on offensive linemen getting into the Hall of Fame more than any other
I'm happy
position.
for you. Or sorry that happened, but I'm not reading all that.
Because it's not as quantifiable as other positions. There aren't the stats handy. Let me give you an example. The Miami Dolphins had a tackle named Richmond Webb. He made more Pro Bowls than Boselli. Along with Boselli, he made the all-1990s, all-decade team. Really good tackle for a long, long time. Hasn't come close to the Hall of Fame. But Boselli makes it.
Have you guys seen a lot?
Arbitrary.
Have you guys seen many precedents for a Hall of Famer putting out by statement that someone else doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I'm asking legitimately.
They usually support one another.
That is
Bret
not
Hart with Bill Goldberg.
Got to be a personal beef there.
That's not a quote that was spoken, correct? You guys are telling me, as a matter of fact, that's not how Bruce Smith speaks or how anybody speaks. That's how something is written.
I kind of want to keep reading this. The second slide on his Instagram statement says, The Hall of Fame is an exclusive fraternity that follows a tacit code of conduct which fosters respect and brotherhood between its members. Given the opportunity, any Hall of Famer could use his credentials to boast about his dominance over another member, but such behavior is deemed inappropriate because of the friction and discord it could create within the group.
Okay. Yet I'm going to criticize him. He can't criticize me, but I'm going to criticize him.
Where are we, Billy, with Stugotz and the negotiations with Boselli now that he is in contact with Boselli and blaming me for these polls?
I mean, it's your poll.
I know that he has successfully spoken to Boselli, as he told you, because we're recording with Boselli in the near future for Stupidity.
Yep.
But I think that's as far as he's going to get with this whole thing.
Tony is unaware that I want to sit with friends and family. He's unaware that I would like to be mentioned in his Hall of Fame speech. We're going to sit down with him. We'll negotiate. We'll see if we can get these things done. If we get them done, I will likely go to the Hall of Fame ceremony for my friend Tony Boselli. That's where we're at. I mean, that's where things are at. I sit down with him tomorrow. He doesn't want to talk to Dan anymore. He's done with Dan. Doesn't care if Dan thinks he's a Hall of Famer or not. He thinks Dan's an ass.
You know what you should do? You know what I think you should do, Stugotz?
It's his words, Dan. I had a long conversation with him yesterday.
I think you pitch this to Boselli.
Yeah.
And if Boselli doesn't agree to your terms, then you flip sides on him.
Yeah.
And you go there anyways, but you protest. And Bruce Smith's jersey.
Smith was right.
Bruce was right signs. You have to heckle him and say he's not allowed in.
Now, if he allows me to sit with friends and family, mentions my name, I will, I'm telling you right now, I'll come with signs that are anti-Bruce Smith, and I will encourage others to do the same.
Won't be allowed in.
Now, if he doesn't let me sit with friends and family, then you're right. I am going there in support of my friend Bruce. There's no question about it. about it.
You know, you actually have to show up if he gets you a seat.
I know. I will.
You won't.
Direct flights to Canton from here.
There are not.
Yes, there are.
There's
Look
a
it up.
direct flight
He-
from
he-
Miami.
he
Directees.
reported that yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a podcast
Directees, yes.
title. Yes.
To Canton?
Directees to
Yes.
Canton. Yes.
Yeah. Wanna
It was,
No.
Little trip to the Hall of Fame.
You're
Me
not
and you,
going.
Mike. What
You're
do you
not
mean?
going. You should stop this before you get ahead of you. You're not going to go. It's going to be a bad look for
He
you.
just committed to going either way, by the way.
I am telling you right now, I'm stuck with the Bruce Smith camp. I am telling you right now that if I am sitting with the Bosellis, and I feel like there's a chance, I'm just part of the group, okay? Like friends,
There's
family.
no chance, Stugotz.
And a little shout out from Tony because I helped him get in. I'm
You
supposed
deserve it.
listen.
Yeah.
Greg doesn't think he should be in. Dan doesn't think
Wait
he
a
should be
minute.
in.
No,
What?
no. I
You
have
said
been
it.
I have been
mean,
misrepresented
a
here.
jaguar.
That is what he
He was a
said.
jaguar.
Yeah.
Both you and Greg Cote have been meaner to Tony Boselli. He only thinks I'm the ass. I put that poll up yesterday as a joke to
Right.
strong arm him into accepting your terms, even though you don't have anything in the way of real leverage on him. And it was and Jacksonville fans, Whittingham, you saw this. They were unreasonable about it. They do not get the show. They did not think anything was funny. Duval County came after me rabid and pink and angry.
Yeah, I did not realize how strong the Duval supporters are, especially considering that
They've never had a real Hall of Famer.
Right.
I was going to say that they have a bad team at the
Right.
moment, but yeah, I mean they
Tony Khan
went
at 11 a.m.
absolutely after us yesterday. My God, I've never seen we got ratioed, as the kids would say.
I did not know Jacksonville had a passionate fan base. I would have thought that those people in Urban Meyer would have knocked it out of you over all these years. Fred Taylor was great. He was probably the fastest player in the league when he played, and I would put Fred Taylor in the Hall of Fame, but not Boselli.
Oh, boy. Digging yourself a deeper hole, Dan.
I don't
mean,
think
he's
that there's-
6'7".
There cannot
Isn't
be.
he taller than that? I thought he was 6'9". Now shortstops for the Pirates are 6'7".
He is
Dude's
6'7", and
amazing.
he says he's still 302 pounds. He was 322 when he was playing.
That shortstop from the Pirates threw a ball to the first baseman at 99 miles per hour.
Yes.
That's incredible. There are no direct flights to Akron Canton International Airport. You'd probably have to fly to Cleveland and drive.
Did you
No.
read the internet wrong?
I mean, maybe. I'll check it.
O'Neal Cruz is his name, yes, and he's an exciting young player, and it's weird to see one of those in a Pirates uniform.
He won't be there long.
Roberto Clemente was pretty exciting.
Yes, he was.
good.
What is your projection on this, Billy? You think, at the very least, I thought you had a conflict on Stupidity. I thought you already had a big, giant guest on Stupidity on Thursday. And
Well, yeah, we have a Hall of Famer already this week, and now Stugotz. I was trying to be vague and not say we were recording with Boselli tomorrow, so we could put it out next week, the week he actually gets into the Hall of Fame. But Stugotz has now said it's tomorrow, so there may be expectations.
well, but now the whole
to hear
thing
from
has
him.
expectations. Now, because Stugotz is going to try to negotiate
Well,
something here.
I'd just like to say
Deserve it.
to everyone listening, don't have expectations, because this ultimately will end with nothing happening, except Boselli will come on and we'll talk to him for, like 20, 30 minutes.
Now, Mike, I see a United nonstop to Canton. I see one on Spirit as well. So
Yeah, you should take that one.
from Miami. I'm not taking Spirit. I'm eyeing the United flight.
Why wouldn't you take
but
that other
Stugotz,
one?
look at
I'm not
the
doing Spirit. No.
The airport code, it's
Americas.
CLE. It's Cleveland. You're flying into Cleveland. I mean,
Canton.
driving an hour to Canton.
That's okay.
It's a nice drive.
What
I've
don't
done
you
it.
understand?
This
that
time
that's
of
not
ye-
a
this time of
direct
year is
flight to
great.
Canton?
It feels direct.
It's
I
a
mean,
good drive this time
If
of
you
year.
get me
feels
to within an
direct.
hour of my destination, that is a direct flight. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, that's
when
fair.
I go to New York City, I fly in the JFK. It takes me an hour to get in there.
Yeah.
That's a direct flight to New York.
That's right.
I mean, come on.
No, you're
Considered
taking
a direct
flight
flight.
to Cleveland.
Well, I mean,
Well,
technically,
in your defense, the Cincinnati airport is in Kentucky.
At LeBatard Show on Twitter, Billy,
plenty
if
of flights.
you're flying an hour from your destination, have you taken a direct flight? Because Stugotz pushes this. He made the flight to Tahoe a direct flight, even though he landed in San Francisco.
3-hour drive.
So I
Not
don't know.
Direct.
I don't know where
Not direct.
that's not direct.
No.
What is the limit then? 1 hour, between 1 hour and 3 hours. What is direct and what's not direct, as classified by Stugotz?
Well, I would say, like, if you drive, if your intention is to stay in Miami for a weekend, but you fly into Fort Lauderdale, I feel like that's a direct flight. I do. Like, it's a 35,
Yeah.
40-minute drive. Yeah, but you might get a better deal by flying into Fort Lauderdale. So you take it, and I feel like that's a direct flight.
You think a flight to West Palm Beach, you think, is a direct flight into Miami?
I mean, that takes about 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't feel like that.
Anything under an hour 60.
I feel like West Palm is a direct flight to Fort Lauderdale. I'll say that.
An hour 60 is 2 hours.
Yeah, as a callback.
Within an hour.
Within an hour.
Within an hour.
It's a direct flight.
Thank you, Greg.
Right. Yeah.
No, it can't be a direct flight if there is an airport in the city that you are going to, but you are flying into an airport in another city. I feel like that's a good rule.
But Mike, if you like, San Francisco is a very expensive airport to fly into. So some people fly into San Jose and they drive about 45 minutes to get to San Francisco. To me, that's a direct flight.
To San Jose.
Well, to San Francisco. I mean, technically San Jose.
But SFO has an airport.
I know.
Where is the number that you have to put this at? Number of minutes, because you're telling us
60 minutes.
So if it's 65 minutes, it's not a direct flight. If there's traffic from JFK,
I'd be willing to bend to 65 minutes. Okay.
Right.
How about 70 minutes?
Not a direct flight.
Yeah.
So that's where the number is.
Yes.
You got to draw the line somewhere.
Right.
60 minutes or 60 miles. Either.
Yeah. Right.
But if you're if I believe if the city's name is different, if the airport code is Miami and you've flown into Fort Lauderdale, you have no longer flown into Miami.
Right.
And that's a 40-minute.
You have to fly into MIA to have a direct flight to Miami?
To MIA.
No way.
Correct.
No.
That's how that works.
No.
If you fly into Akron Canton Airport,
right,
then you, my friend, have flown directly into Canton. If you fly into Cleveland, then you have flown directly into Cleveland.
Stugotz can't build an airport in Canton. What's he going to do?
There is one.
It's not a big one, though.
But that's why Mike was shocked that there were directees to Canton, because there's no such thing, because Canton doesn't have an airport. Or do they have a big private airport for Bruce Smith when he shows up?
It's a very small airport, Akron Canton Airport. You can connect in there from Charlotte, but I'm looking at flights, so like $850. So
right.
I mean, I feel like you'd rather take the directee to Cleveland, but
thank you.
I mean, it's still a direct flight to Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's a directee to Cleveland, but it's also a directee
nice
to anything within an hour,
also,
60 miles.
It's also cost effective, which is why I wanted to poke holes immediately in your San Jose theory, because usually those smaller boutique airports are far more expensive to fly into.
Right.
Most people do, like, if I want to go to San Jose, I'll fly into San Francisco and make the drive. It's usually not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Stugotz, I don't know if you saw a story that came out over the weekend, but because football is such a juggernaut and because we're so starved for it and it's 40 days out and Tariq Hill is on First Take with funky sunglasses just doing a relaxed interview where he's saying that Tua is the most accurate quarterback in the league because he just keeps gassing him up during a slow time. People get very passionate about uniforms, colors, and styles. And I thought it was substantive breaking news in the emotional field of fabrics and textures in football that the Cincinnati Bengals are removing the orange from some of their helmets to replace it with some white.
They look great.
They are adding.
They look like zebras
to their helmet set.
3 games a year, right, Mike? 3 games a year. Yeah.
If you look at their away uniforms, it always bothered me because there isn't really an orange accent outside of the helmet. It would have been so cool if they had a white helmet or at least some white accents on the helmet to make it make sense. Now they'll go with the white tiger look for a lot of road games, and that's I like a lot of the alternate helmets. The Chicago Bears unveiled an alternate orange helmet that seemed to land like a fart. So some of it's good, some of it's bad.
I think of their helmets as being orange. I don't. When I heard white, I'm like, I don't know why I reacted this way. I don't care about these things. But that's the first time in 40 years that they've done something like that with a helmet change. And even though it's just a couple of them, it struck me as news that would arrive with people reacting to it because it's going to be confusing when the Bengals play a game with white helmets.
Very aesthetically pleasing. This sets up way better color clashes. You remember the AFC Championship game? Anytime you get those red helmets from the Chiefs lining up against an orange helmet, it's painful on the eyes.
Clashes.
Now you have a white variant to go to. It'll be a lot easier on all of us.
You see the Jets helmet?
The black helmet.
Oh,
I don't like
so
what the Jets
good.
are doing with the black accents.
Why?
Because Uniwatch blog used to do this thing, black for black's sake, because black uniforms sell better. Everybody wants to wear it's a cool color.
Yeah.
But the Jets' history, it's very simple. 2 colors. green and white.
Yep.
We
Kelly
don't
green.
need to, they're totally forcing the black part.
I got confused last year. I'm not going to lie. It's one of the many things that makes me these days feel like a doddering old man, but I believe the Jets and the Ravens were playing. And as I'm tuning into the game, I'm like, okay, I'm having some trouble with this. I know that the helmets, I expect when I'm watching the Jets.
The Ravens are the purple team, Dan.
I expect green.
Right.
I expect green.
You expect losses.
They're called gang green, though. Called gang green. They should be proud of that. Not.
I like the new Jets helmets.
So do I.
They look cooler,
Yes.
but I do expect them to be all green. What are you shaking your head about, Roy?
Black for black's sake, he's absolutely. There were like 6 alternate helmets this year that have black in them. That's too. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This is like the teal in the 90s.
Yeah,
You
terrible.
guys one is
Just
cool.
just too much.
I even think the Panthers one is all right because it makes sense. It taps into the original colors of the team. And we're forced in this black thing with the Jets. They're gang green, not
Ban
gang
the
green and
alternate
black.
uniform. Ban it. Ban them all.
What?
And ban the throwback uniform. It's a money grab.
Well, the
All
throwback
these
We're going too
teams
far
are-
now.
all
We're going
these
too far.
teams
We're
are
going too
just trying to move more merch.
I mean, the Buccaneers.
I was on board with the
Chargers.
alternates. I genuinely don't know what the uniforms are for most NBA teams. You tune into the game and you'll tell me who is in which. I don't know what the Utah Jazz's colors are. Completely
It's
unfamiliar.
yellow now, apparently.
Like they're,
It's yellow and
they're
black.
all
Yellow.
over the place.
Terrible.
The Miami Heat will wear their black, white, and red set maybe 10 times a year.
Hate
There's
that.
always a gold jersey. There's the vice and the yellow and
Right.
the letters
Yeah.
all over the place.
Terrible.
Like I don't know what their uniform set is most of the year.
Yeah, Nike came in, and all of a sudden, you can't count on what team uniform you're going to see when they're playing a home game. It's all over the place. I'm not a fan of that. I do think eventually America is going to catch up to what's happened in Europe, where if you're a fan of a soccer team, they have a new uniform every year.
Yep.
They sell boatloads of jerseys that way. Every year, new design. The only constant is maybe, depending on how long the sponsorship deal is, the sponsor, but the crest. And everything around that is different. And I think the NBA will be the first league that ventures into that.
Yeah, there was actually a team in the Premier League that is getting a ton of credit for having the same uniform for 2 straight years.
Uniform, by definition, as a man of words, Greg, uniforms are supposed to be uniform.
Yes, constant, steady.
But greed, I mean, look,
And it's all greed.
the walls have come crashing down on it's all merch. It's all to be commerce. Don't care about your emotional attachments. How do I get to more of your dollars? The color I care about is green. Whether I have to put the Jets in black or not, I care about green, green, green. And the sports fan in you doesn't actually end up objecting, right? Because you notice the greed. I don't know where the line has to be. There, I've told you before, I've used this example, whether, one beer sponsor is costing $5 billion because this sport is such a monster. The only time I've seen the league back away from overt greed because of public reaction is when we found out that their patriotism cost the military millions of dollars to have it on Sundays. And then the NFL was like, oops, our bad. We shouldn't have been taking that money. But otherwise, all of these sports leagues are maximizing the commerce portions of this, and it doesn't actually
As they should, by
doesn't
the way.
run fans off, even as you tell me you don't like them. You don't like them, and what?
There is such a big business in throwback designs as well that it's almost as if these teams come out with very modernized designs that'll stick around for maybe 5 years. I think in the NFL they have to contractually stick around for 5 years just so they can get you to buy the throwback stuff because you like it so much more. It's just our normal uniform set is shit. So here, you like the old stuff? We'll give you the old stuff too with today's prices.
I think, though, that we may be also, because we are, almost everybody in this room, older sports fans, even though you guys don't identify as older sports fans. I'm guessing young people are just fine with changing them every year. I don't think they have any sentimental attachment to what Richard Todd was wearing for the Jets in the 1980s.
I'd prefer that rather than see a bad design for 5 years. I wish the NFL would change to the designs every year rather than seeing the Browns with the side panel that says Browns on the pants.
But how do you feel like most fans would feel about that? Change it, the younger portion.
I don't understand why American sports leagues are so slow to this. There is so much money to be made in changing your uniform
I think
every
you're right.
year.
But
I agree with
Mike,
you.
it's because
If you don't like the design, you'll complain for 1
but
year.
wait a
Next
Just a
minute.
year, you'll get
subtle
another
little
one.
change will get you a lot of money.
You
Yeah.
say you don't understand. I feel like we do. Sports, we've been taught, generations of sports fans have been taught that tradition matters in sports, that history matters in sports, that it's not all about commerce, that you can't cheapen yourself at every turn by selling out every last thing, that sports is supposed to be an important thing that is mystical and mythical and isn't all wrapped in commerce and does a great deal to disguise that it's wrapped in commerce at every turn because they love feeding off you in the emotion business. Am I wrong about this? Like, I feel we've seen with college football, whoa, they stopped caring about tradition real fast. Lane Kiffin is now just putting his name on, hey, we're like baseball now. Highest payroll wins, gets the best players. That's what happened as soon as people realized, oh, we can actually just maximize the profit here.
I've been a Jet fan my entire life, and I am used to those colors, green, white, and the uniforms. I saw the black helmets. I love them. Now, the Jets don't have any tradition, so I don't care about what they do with their uniforms. They have a tradition of being lousy, of losing, and so I don't care about their tradition. Any new uniform that kind of gives them a jolt and perhaps, they start winning games in those uniforms, I am open to. I'm also open to making as much money as you can. And so I think it's a great thing. But again, I think certain organizations would have bigger issues with uniform changes. Like I think the Chiefs, maybe the Packers, some of the organizations,
the Packers, yes. But
they actually have tradition, Dan.
Well, but there are a lot of places
too. The Cowboys can't. If you look at the Cowboys design, it makes no sense. They wear royal blue socks and royal blue numbers. On the helmet, there's no royal blue. Doesn't make it. On the road, they wear their navies. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I'm so confused every time I see a Cowboys uniform.
What are the franchises you can't?
The silver on the pants doesn't match the helmet. It's a disaster.
What are the top 5? Steelers, Raiders, Cowboys.
Steelers, you leave alone. Packers, I feel like you leave alone. The Raiders have made some changes, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
The state that they play in.
Right. Well, that too.
But it is mostly, I think of Raiders, I think black and silver.
Right. Yeah. The Raiders have like one alternate uniform, which is still a white jersey, but the numbers instead of black are more blocky silver, and those are actually pretty fire. It's a throwback to the AFL days.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the Cowboys, but they've made a lot of changes as well. Jerry Jones is going to capitalize whenever he can. But I feel like those uniforms.
No, they don't make changes. They don't. What they do is they.
Well, how about the white and blue ones? Weren't those?
They do the throwbacks
right?
With the star on the shoulders.
And now they announced that the alternate helmets are going to be the white helmets, and they'll wear that properly on Thanksgiving. I think that they belong in throwbacks on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tradition that I quite liked. That throwback uniforms were a thing just reserved for Thanksgiving.
Billy, you love to wear things that are 70 colors in here. The Marlins uniform, that is your, I don't know, just the way that you throw on numbers. And I don't know how you do it in the morning. Your socks are about 70
One leg
colors.
at a time.
Your favorite uniform? Do you care about any of this stuff?
I like alternate uniforms. Yeah, I mean, I like a change every once in a while. I mean, but the Marlins, you're the team that I follow the most, have had a ridiculous number of uniform changes in the last 10 years. Like, they've been... In 2000, I guess now in 10 years, 2012 they changed, 2017, 2018, whatever it was.
They're also a franchise,
again.
Billy, that struggles to generate revenue.
Yes.
So perhaps this helps,
I mean, I don't know how much revenue they're generating though with the new uniforms.
The Sugar Kings alternate uniform,
yeah,
the
that
red
was
one,
successful.
That seems to move a lot.
Yeah.
Roy, you're the one who's got the most.
I mean, Roy with hockey.
Roy's got the most jerseys.
Well, he has 8 teams also. So.
I like a classic uniform myself. I'm not big on change. I especially hate the Utah Jazz uniforms right now. I like the previous set because at least it looked like classic, even though it was green instead of blue. But I'm
Are we
not
disrespecting the Utah Jazz? Do none of us know what the Jazz are doing with their uniforms? Do none of us understand this?
Yeah,
they look like bumblebees. It's
awful.
the B state, but yeah, they look like bumblebees right now.
Sometimes they wear orange for some reason. What does orange have to do with
it?
anything?
It looks minor league. Their new design.
Nonsensical name as well.
Well, they were in New Orleans, though.
I know, and now they're in Utah.
Yeah.
Change your nickname.
Yep.
Good God.
What would you make their name?
What's in Utah? I have no idea.
Mountains.
Bees.
Is there like a...
Well, this is what Roy
What if
just
they became
said.
the Utah Lakers also?
Well, yeah, that would be confusing.
Roy, do you know this off the top of your head that Utah is the B state? What a weird fact to have in your head.
Yeah, it's the nicknames for states. Yeah, I know that as the B state. Yeah.
The bees? Like bumblebees?
Do you know
Yeah.
all
Really?
this?
Wow.
Do you
I don't know all
states?
the I don't know all the state nicknames.
Do you know most?
I mean, Sunshine State.
Roy just lobbed it out there.
Arkansas.
No idea. I don't want to know.
I thought we had like a unique talent here.
No.
It's just the useless talent of knowing that Utah is the B state.
And it's not even.
No, it's not useless when it comes into use.
The beehive.
That's a fine, Roy.
That's a fine.
The beehive hairdo.